Hey everybody, welcome back. So, next up on the bench is a little present from Defiant Wings. If you don't know about Defiant Wings, you should look them up. They are on YouTube, they have a website, and they have an Instagram page. Defiant Wings makes EPP foam racing wings. These wings are basically indestructible. He uses really high quality foam. It's a small one-man operation. He's got a CNC foam cutter, and he really makes some great products. So in this box we have two wings. We have a Defiant 28 and a Defiant Sprite. So the Defiant Sprite's actually going to be a giveaway because, like I said in a couple of prior videos, I think that the creators and the content creators in our communities, they really should do a better job of giving back to the community and giving away some wings. Some of them get a ton of free planes and wings and stuff from manufacturers, and they should be given back. So I'm going to do it through subscriber count until I get to a certain number, maybe 5,000 subscribers hopefully, and then we'll do a giveaway once a month. It may not always be a glorious giveaway like a plane. It might be props, it could be flight controllers, batteries, whatever it may be. I will give something back. So the Defiant Sprite that is in this box is it's a kit. It's going to be for a giveaway. What we're going to be building is the Defiant 28 kit, and it basically comes, let's see here, oops, dropped it, as a foam wing kit. So I'm going to get everything out of the box. I'll show you how everything comes packaged. Make sure I'm not mixing up the parts. And we'll leave the Sprite in the box. I believe this is the centerpiece for the 28. It is. This is probably for the Sprite. Yep, there's some pieces in here. And we have some carbon. Okay, I'm going to leave the rest of that in there, and I'll show you what's in there. So they provide laminate for the wings. You have to paint and laminate your own wings. They give you this fiberglass rod. You lay that within the wing, and it helps strengthen up the wing. Once the wing is laminated and you put this fiberglass rod in there, everything is super tight. These things bounce off the ground. You'll break props, you'll break motor mounts. You will not break this wing, and if you do break it, all you have to do is get a little glue, a little laminate, and boom, you're up and flying again. These things are super, super indestructible. Great wings. They're a ton of fun to fly. You can build them to be fast race wings. You can build them to be cruising wings. You can make them a little bit heavier and just make them complete and total bashing wings. Whatever way you want to build it. The last one I built, I gave away to a friend. I like to do that sometimes if I can get somebody into the hobby and get them started flying wings and planes, because that's really where my heart lies. Even though I do fly quads, I will give away something to somebody who I think can get more use of it. I have a bunch of planes. I have stuff that I can't fly in a single day. I have so many planes. So sometimes I'll give away something and give something to a friend who wants to get into the hobby. So my last one that I built, I went a little bit heavier with it, and it was kind of sort of along the lines of like a basher. I had a lot of fun with it. It just wasn't as fast as I wanted it to be. So this one I'm going to make a lot lighter. I'm going to use a lot less glue, a lot less carbon and fiberglass rods. This is for the Sprite. These are going to be the elevons and parts for the Sprite. So we're going to put the Sprite over there. I'm going to leave the laminate in the box for now, along with the carbon tubing. And we're going to lay this out. Also put the instructions for this in here as well. This is all of the parts. There we go. There's my Defiant 28 sticker. 2 balsa elevons. Nice, good quality balsa. Wingtips. PETG motor mount, 3D printed. These are pretty hardy. You can always print your own if you break it, if you have a 3D printer, which I do. And then control surfaces. And they even provide the control surface rod, the threaded rod for control surfaces. So that's all that. Let's take this out of here. Move this to the side. When you're painting this, you can paint it any color you want. I like to make mine really bright, so when they go tumbling into really tall grass, or I lost my last one in the woods, and luckily it was like a bright orange, and we were able to find it after like 15 minutes of looking in the woods. I had a fail-safe on a bad receiver. You will need a PWM style receiver with one of these. You're also going to need an ESC, a wing ESC with a back, with a 5-volt back to power your receiver. I'll show you an example of the type of receiver, ESC you'll need, and the type of receiver you'll need. So I don't really fly Spectrum, but I have a Spectrum receiver that I pulled out of that Mustang. It's an older one, but this is the kind of receiver you're going to need for those of you who fly quads. You're going to need a PWM receiver, and you're going to need an ESC that has a 5-volt back on it that can power your receiver. This is a 50 amp ESC, I believe 50, I think it's an X-Rotor ESC. Not sure, but this is probably the ESC I'm going to put in here. I haven't decided what motor I'm going to use. The great thing about the Defiant Wings is the mounting pattern on the motor mount is quad motor. You can put a quad motor on it, so that's also great. So yeah, so that's where we're at. We're going to start getting this all together. First steps is to lay out the foam, and we have to glue the wing together. That's what we're going to do first. Okay, let's move this box out of the way. One of the things you're going to need to buy when you're building one of these wings is you have to tape the wing together when you're gluing it, and you're going to need some of this rough surface tape. Okay, it's green. Make sure it says rough surfaces or concrete on it. Okay, regular masking tape, the blue tape, the tan tape, it won't stick to the EPP because the EPP is so porous. So you need to get a tape like this that's going to stick to it. And I'll show you an example real quick. If I can open this up. They always make it so hard. So where's the start to this? There it is. So we'll compare it to it. So this is the rough tape. See, you can push it down and it will stick pretty good to it. Pulling it, it's fighting me a little bit. Alright. Now if I have some blue tape here. I'll show you the difference between the blue tape. The blue tape literally just rips right off. Don't even stick. Look at that. See that? Just pulls right up. As you can see like this. See that? It's a lot different. So, you need to get yourself some of this tape. It's a little bit more expensive, but it works great. So what you want to do is you want to get the general layout of the wing. Okay. Alrighty then. And that's pretty much what we're looking at right there. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut, we want to save this. We're going to cut these. We're going to slice it right along here. Just the outer, not the inner. We're going to save the inners. That's what we're doing together. We're going to cut that like that. And we're going to cut that like that. We're going to use this as a form. Okay. And then we're going to tape it together like so. And then we're going to glue the wing. You'll see when we get to doing it. So, in my experience, you don't want to use hot glue when putting these together. You can. It doesn't work as well as using Goop or E6000. I like the E6000. It really kind of melts into the foam a little bit better and makes it a lot stronger. Goop works amazing for a lot of other things. So between the two of these, either one will work great. I'm just going to use the E6000 on this particular build. Alright, so move the glue out of the way. You just need yourself a little hobby knife. Box cutter. Trying to find one that's got a good blade on it. There we go. So just a regular box cutter will work. This will work for making grooves as well for your rods. So the first thing we want to do is we just want to cut this right down the middle here. Okay. As you can see, my knife is in the shirt. Okay. Boom. You want to put right with right, left with left. Okay. Just leave that in there once you're done. Okay. Put this out. Okay. Perfect. Okay. And we're going to cut this. Alright, you're going to save this. I do it a little bit differently than he does on his website. But you're going to save these outer forms pretty much until you're done with the build. And then I would also, even when you're done with the build, I would save a piece of these. If you crash your wing or you break it, which, like I said, this foam is really strong. This is really high quality stuff. But if you happen to crash your wing or you puncture it or something, you could always use a piece of your scrap EPP and glue it back together. You could use it. You can see how that fits up. You can sand this. You can form it. You can almost make another wing out of this. Not completely, but you have enough material to really repair it. So, good idea when you're done with the build to save a piece of this. Put it aside. All right. So now, what we're going to do is we're going to take the bottoms. Okay, and we're going to tape these together. You want to make sure you line them up really good. This is where tape comes in. Get it started. My finger's got tape on it. Thumb on right now. Okay, you want to line it up and you want to tape it and make sure it's nice and even and make sure it is where you want it to be. Make sure you tape it fully. Again, make sure it's even. Put it where you want it to be. And I would even wrap a little bit around the front just to make sure you got it fully taped. Okay, good. Now we're going to take the bottom of this one and we're going to tape it there. I'm going to trim this off. Alright, to the bottom of this. We're going to put that just like that. Right, left side, yes. Okay, just like that. Okay. Flip this over. Do the same thing as we did before and line it up. There we go. Make sure it's lined up nice and straight. You just want to make sure the corners are lined up nice and straight in the front. Doesn't have to be perfect. You'll see why in a second. Okay. Alright, now we've made a form. Okay? So now when we take our glue, okay, we can now glue that nicely. Okay, and now we have a form to hold it in. And then while that's drying, we could put our pieces back over the top and put books on it and keep it steady. Okay, so what I like to do is, and this is where I differ a little bit from the person who made these wings, is I will take a carbon rod and I'll glue the sides together, and I'm going to take a carbon rod from here and I'm going to go straight across the front of the nose. Now he has his down a little bit. I'm going to put mine further a little bit, and I'm going to put another rod, so I'm going to have 2 rods in the nose. That will give me extra strength in the nose, and that will really hold the wings together. Now, one of the good things that you should really do is always have around some extra carbon. And I happen to have a box of extra carbon tubing. I keep different sizes. I like to shore up a lot of my wings, even on the foam almost ready to fly kits. I like to add carbon spars to the wings and stuff to make them more solid. So that's what we're going to do here. And if you look at the diagram here, you'll see where they have intended the fiberglass rods. And that's pretty much where we're going to put them. I'm going to do everything pretty much the same way he has it here. The last time I added a bunch more carbon to it to make it really, really strong. I'm not going to do that this time because, like I said, I want to make it a little wider. The only place I'm going to add an extra carbon rod is going to be the nose, because you tend to land on the nose a lot. So, and the second thing I'm going to do is, last time I had my camera a little far forward. I actually broke a couple of lenses on hard crashes like that, so I'm going to move the camera back a little bit and give myself a little extra space. So that's pretty much it. Alright, next step, we're going to get some carbon out and we're going to get the gluing. Alright, so I basically have the 2 forms together, and now I'm going to add some glue. I'm going to add a liberal amount of glue to the centerpiece, because this is where we join the wings, and then I'm going to put the forms on. You don't want to go too much to where it's squeezing out and making a mess of everything, but you want to have enough on there to where you're getting a nice bond, and you want to cover the surface pretty good. Good enough on there. Okay, and we're going to glue this in place. Get this down in here. Like that, and make sure it's all centered up where we want it to be. Okay. Pull it apart, let some air get in there. Pull this side apart, let some air get in there. Okay. This is very important because this will determine whether or not your wing is going to be straight. Just a little bit more glue on this side and that side. This is another little trick I will teach everybody is, I don't know if I actually have any on me. But let's see. Alright, so what I like to do is take a spare piece of foam that they do a flight test and get the excess off. Squeeze it in there. Okay, so now she's looking pretty straight. Everything's got a nice good bond on it. She's good in the form, and now we can place our top form on this. Make sure that is nice and straight as well. And there we go. Let's just make sure we didn't move it around at all. Okay, she's getting there. And she's nice and straight. Lift it around a little bit. So the reason you want to use the form is the form keeps the foam flat and it lets you... I gotta get lined that up with that hole. It lets you make sure the wing stays nice and flat and it doesn't bend during the gluing process. Okay. Now that's that. Now what I want to do is find some books or some heavy stuff and put it on top of that. A keyboard box. We'll use a keyboard box like so, and then we'll use some rubbing alcohol. Like so, and like so. And there we go. We're going to keep some extra pressure on that. We're going to let that dry, then we can start cutting in our spars, get our mounting surfaces and everything else on it. But that's step one. Alright, so I have the wing glued together. The three pieces are holding firm. I drew out the lines for the next carbon spars, as you can see there. Everything is measured out and drawn to the spec of the drawing. I will now take a razor blade score those lines so I can put in the fiberglass rods. The middle rod I swapped out and I put a piece of 3mm solid carbon rod. Sorry, the little cover for the camera dangling. I put a solid piece of 3mm carbon rod in there, and then I put a piece of 2mm carbon across the nose. So that's basically where I'm at. I'm using the tape on the sides here to hold this down and hold it flat against the mold. I'm going to glue it all up and then flip it over, cut in the battery tray. Then I'm going to use a router to cut in the servo holes. So it's moving along. So far I have about half an hour into this total build. Not long at all.